You're live from New Delhi, watching the India Newshour, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Coming up in the next hour. Prime Minister to visit Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu today to participate in Satya Sai Baba centenary celebrations in Puttaparthi and will inaugurate South India Natural Farming Summit in Coimbatore. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar calls on Russian President Vladimir Putin in Moscow, conveys Prime Minister Modi's greetings ahead of key India-Russia summit, calls for zero tolerance on terrorism at SCO meet. U.S. House of Representatives and Senate approve a release of Epstein files. Donald Trump set to sign the bill into law as early as Wednesday. U.S. designates Saudi Arabia as a major non-NATO ally. Bin Salman pledges to increase investment in U.S. to $1 trillion. Trump agrees to future deliveries of F-35s.
Saudi Arabia has never been as safe as it is right now.
And Scotland clinched 2026 World Cup qualification after 28 years. Defeats Denmark 4-2. Spain and Switzerland to book World Cup ticket. And on to the details now. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit the holy shrine and Mahasamadhi of Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba in Puttaparthi to offer his obeisance and pay respects in Andhra Pradesh on Wednesday. Well, Prime Minister will participate in the centenary celebrations of Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba. He will release a commemorative coin and set of stamps honouring the life, teachings and enduring legacy of Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba. While Prime Minister will also address the gathering during the program. Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also travel to the southern Indian city of Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu on Wednesday. Prime Minister will inaugurate the South India Natural Farming Summit 2025. Prime Minister will also release the 21st installment of PM Kisan amounting to more than 18,000 crore rupees to support the 9 crore farmers across the country. He'll also address the gathering on the occasion. Siddharth Bharadwaj reports from there.
In a boost to sustainable farming practices, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the South India Natural Farming Summit 2025 in Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu on Wednesday. The three-day event, scheduled from November 19 to 21, aims to promote chemical-free, sustainable and eco-friendly agricultural practices. The Prime Minister will also release the 21st installment of PM Kisan Samman Nidhi, a government scheme offering financial support to small and marginal farmers across India. Under this, more than 18,000 crore rupees will be transferred to nearly 9 crore farmers across the country.
We are very much interested to start that, the organic farming all over India, under the leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister, Sri Narendra Modi ji is very much interested to cultivation all the crops under the natural farming.
Farmers praise natural farming as a sustainable and eco-friendly practice that promotes healthier living.
I am getting more money in the organic farming and natural farming because the land is developing 0.5% only carbon content. Now it will make 5%. So I will get more yield from the natural farming.
The summit, described as a first-of-its-kind gathering, brings together farmers, entrepreneurs, stakeholders from across different states like Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Puducherry, and Karnataka, along with leading scientists. With over 50,000 farmers expected, the event will also showcase indigenous technologies.
India is showing its way to the entire global community how without a poison we can take our food. So there is a very important message, and we are again, it is not only for the purpose of the region, and we must be thankful to our Honorable PM for creating an awareness about the organic farming.
The South India Natural Farming Summit 2025 is widely seen as a potential game changer for the agricultural landscape and the growth of natural farming in South. Siddharth Bharadwaj's report for DD India.
And Siddharth Bharadwaj joins us from Coimbatore for more on this. Well, Siddharth, tell us what all is planned for Prime Minister Modi's visit to the Mahasamadhi of Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba, and how is the centenary celebration being received by the devotees and the public in Puttaparthi?
Hi Lipakshi, a very good morning to you. Lipakshi, I'm here in Coimbatore, which is the southern part of the India, in Tamil Nadu. And here Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be inaugurating the South India Natural Farming Summit 2025. And this is a very important and significant summit which aims for natural farming and further eco-friendly farming and sustainable farming as well. Because in this type of farming, when you talk about the natural farming, it doesn't use any sort of pesticides. It's a chemical-free farming which also promotes healthier living. Also apart from that, there are about 50,000 farmers who are expected to come here, and you can see behind me people are coming in large numbers. I'm here at the venue, and the security arrangement as far as this venue is concerned is pretty tight. There is additional security personnel that have been deployed at the venue who are checking all the people who are coming here at the venue. This is a summit which will go on for 3 days from 19th to 21st of November. And this summit, like I said, will focus on the natural farming. Natural farming, when we talk about southern India and natural farming, southern India is certainly excelling in the field of natural farming. And in fact, the entire India and the government is leaving no stone unturned to make sure that the farmers adopt the natural farming practice, because it doesn't use, like I said, any pesticide and promote healthier living as well. When you talk about some numbers, the central government has a plan to include 1 crore farmers into natural farming, and also 22 lakh hectares of land has already been included in the natural farming. All apart from that, there are farmers, there are scientists, there are entrepreneurs, stakeholders who will be under one roof. And we had a word with some farmers here and some other people who are coming into this summit. They are very, very happy, and they are saying that they are very happy with the way Prime Minister Narendra Modi is focusing on the agricultural sector, especially in the southern India. And this summit will provide them a platform to interact with other farmers, with scientists and stakeholders. And also there will be indigenous technology that would be displayed here today with stalls. Somewhere around 200 to 300 stalls would be there, and indigenous technology. Lipakshi, this is coming at a time when Bharat is walking on the path of self-reliance, and also which is aligning further with the vision of Viksit Bharat 2047, when Bharat will be celebrating the independence, the centenary of its independence. Then it is expected to manufacture everything under the sun. So in that way, in that manner, this is a very significant summit which will provide a platform to all the stakeholders, to all the scientists, to come under one roof, and will give them a chance to interact with each other. Technology is very much needed when it comes to the natural farming, and the farmers will be here. It will certainly give them an idea of how they can incorporate modern technology in natural farming. As far as some numbers are concerned, like I just told you, that government is already planning to include 1 crore farmers into natural farming. Apart from that, Lipakshi, Prime Minister Modi will be, releasing the 21st installment of PM Kisan Samman Nidhi, through which, like I said in my report as well, 18,000 crore rupees will be transferred to the bank accounts of 9 crore farmers. And Lipakshi, this is happening for the first time in the country through this scheme, that the money is directly going into the accounts of the farmers, and they can further buy seeds with them. They can further buy natural and organic things and elements to put in their crop. So further, giving them further impetus to actually develop in this particular field. So that way, this summit is very significant, and it is one of a kind summit which is happening, and people here are really, really happy.
An extremely important day, as India is giving a lot of impetus to natural farming. Thank you so much for all those details, and we'll keep taking updates throughout the day from you. Hi. And moving on, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar called on Russian President Vladimir Putin in Moscow on Tuesday. He conveyed greetings of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and apprised him of preparations underway for the upcoming annual India-Russia summit. Now, the two leaders also discussed regional and global developments, on which Jaishankar said he deeply values Putin's perspectives and guidance on further advancement of India-Russia ties. Well, Dr. Jaishankar is visiting Moscow, where he addressed SCO Council of Heads of Government meeting, asking global community to display zero tolerance towards terrorism. He added that India has the right to defend against terrorism and will exercise it as it has done in the past. Besides, Dr. Jaishankar also extended support to SCO's reform agenda. He also pushed for making English as an official language of the grouping.
Officials from Shanghai Cooperation Organization countries gathered in Moscow on Tuesday for the Council of Heads of Government meeting. India was represented by External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar. Jaishankar extended support to SCO reform agenda. However, he also pushed for making English an official language of SCO.
India strongly supports its reform-oriented agenda. We welcome centers addressing challenges such as organized crime, drug trafficking, and cyber security. As the organization becomes more diverse, the SCO must be more flexible and more adaptable. To this end, the long-delayed decision to make English an official language of the SCO must be prioritized.
Recalling SCO's founding principles, Jaishankar reminded member states of the bloc's mission, combating terrorism, separatism, and extremism.
We must never forget that the SCO was founded to combat the three evils of terrorism, separatism, and extremism. These threats have become even more serious in the years that have passed. It is imperative that the world displays zero tolerance towards terrorism in all its forms and manifestations. There can be no justification, no looking away, and no whitewashing. As India has demonstrated, we have the right to defend our people against terrorism and will exercise it.
Established in 2001 in Shanghai, the SCO has grown into a pivotal regional body. As SCO countries evolve, India's push for reform and linguistic inclusivity signals a broader vision for a more dynamic and responsive regional alliance. Bureau Report, DD India.
And still to come on DD India News Hour. Focused on India's role as a security provider in the Indian Ocean region, Colombo Security Conclave begins in Delhi. Maria Corina Machado unveils Freedom Manifesto, urging accountability and global support for Venezuela. And a powerful snowstorm strikes Patagonia in Chile, killing 5 tourists.
This week on Defense Dynamics, we unpack the post-Operation Sindoor shift in India's internal security dynamics. We spotlight DRDO's new AI-powered underwater system transforming the mine warfare. We examine the Army's latest upgrade Invar missiles for T-90 fleet and track Indonesia's interest in BrahMos boosting India's export reach. Catch the complete breakdown this Wednesday at 8 p.m. IST only on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Kuraran. Moving on, India will host the 7th National Security Advisor level meeting of the Colombo Security Conclave in New Delhi from today. The 2-day conclave, which will be chaired by India's NSA Ajit Doval, aims to boost India's role as a security provider in the Indian Ocean region. Well, thus the focus would be on maritime security, humanitarian assistance and disaster relief, counter-terrorism, cyber and blue economy. Its member countries are India, Sri Lanka, the Maldives, Mauritius and Bangladesh, with Seychelles as an observer. Now, the conclave, established to enhance maritime security, counter-terrorism cooperation and the capacity to address international threats, facilitates the exchanges of intelligence, joint policy coordination and capability development among member countries. And international rights watchdogs and global think tanks have questioned the fairness of the trial that led to the death sentence for deposed Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. The UN expressed regret over the verdict delivered in absentia against Hasina and former Home Minister Asaduzzaman Khan Kamal by Bangladesh's International Crimes Tribunal. Now, although the situation in Bangladesh is calm as security forces maintained a tight grip across major cities, security cordons, checkpoints and barricades stayed in place in parts of the capital. Meanwhile, Bangladesh's interim government has warned all print, electronic and online media to refrain from publishing statements by Sheikh Hasina citing national security and public order. All right, so there is, among the tension, there is a little calm right now prevalent in Bangladesh. International rights watchdogs and global think tanks have questioned the fairness of the trial also, which led to the death sentence for deposed Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. And moving on, lawmakers in the US House of Representatives and Senate approved a bill with only one no vote, not to compel the Trump Justice Department to release a trove of files from investigations into convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Now, the Epstein Transparency Act passed by the House of Representatives on Tuesday by a vote of 427-1, sending a resolution requiring the release of all unclassified records on Epstein to the Senate for consideration. Now, the Senate passed the bill before it officially receiving it from the House and then adjourned. This means the bill will officially pass Congress on Wednesday. Donald Trump, who campaigned against the bill before an abrupt U-turn, has promised to sign it into a law. Also, the Justice Department then has 30 days to release all files related to Epstein and his co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell. Also, U.S. President Donald Trump said on Tuesday that broadcasting licenses used by affiliates of Walt Disney's ABC should be taken away after he disagreed with a question posed by a reporter for the network in the Oval Office.
ABC's, your company, your crappy company, is one of the perpetrators. And I'll tell you something. I think the license should be taken away from ABC, because your news is so fake and it's so wrong. And we have a great commissioner, the chairman, who should look at that, because I think when you come in and when you're 97% negative to Trump and then Trump wins the election in a landslide, that means obviously your news is not credible, and you're not credible as a reporter.
Also, President Donald Trump announced on Tuesday the formal designation of Saudi Arabia as a major non-NATO ally during a White House gala dinner with Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman.
Tonight, I'm pleased to announce that we're taking our military cooperation to even greater heights by formally designating Saudi Arabia as a major non-NATO ally, which is something that is very important to them, and I'm just telling you now for the first time because I wanted to keep a little secret for tonight.
Well, the U.S. and Saudi Arabia signed agreements on arms sales, including F-35 fighter jets and a civil nuclear energy cooperation. Trump said the U.S. would sell F-35 stealth fighter jets to Saudi Arabia.
No, we're going to have a deal. They're going to purchase F-35s. They're buying them from Lockheed, and it's a great plane. We make, by the way, the best military equipment. You saw that during the Iran little skirmish. We make the best planes, the best missiles. We make the best offensive missiles. We make the best military equipment in the world. Nice.
Well, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman pledged to increase the Saudi investment in the U.S. to $1 trillion, though details and a timeline were not provided. Trump defended Saudi Crown Prince, stating he knew nothing about the killing of journalist Jamal Khashoggi, contradicting U.S. intelligence assessments Also, the Crown Prince denied ordering the operation but acknowledged responsibility as the kingdom's de facto ruler. And moving on, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum rejected a potential U.S. military intervention in Mexico after President Donald Trump suggested the previous day he would support more aggressive measures against drug cartels, including ground strikes. Now, the exchange occurred as the United States intensified actions against drug cartels outside U.S. territory, which has included approximately 20 known attacks on drug trafficking vessels in international waters in the Caribbean and Pacific since early September.
Yes, it's not going to happen. In fact, there was a statement afterwards. I've mentioned many times in the conversations I've had with the President Trump, phone calls where he has suggested on several occasions or has said, we offer you military intervention from the United States in Mexico, whatever you need to combat criminal groups. But I have told him on all occasions that we can collaborate, that they can help us with the information they have.
Well, Spain announced 817 million euros in new aid to Ukraine. Spanish Prime Minister said his country will provide 615 million euros in new military aid to Ukraine over the next month. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at Moncloa Palace in Madrid on Tuesday, announced an additional 200 million euros in financial support to help with Ukraine's reconstruction.
Over the next month, Spain will mobilize a new military package for Ukraine worth 615 million euros. And along with 615 million euro package that I've just shared with you, I've informed President Zelensky that our country will deploy a new 200 million euro financial support instrument starting today to boost Ukraine's reconstruction.
Also, Zelensky will travel to Turkey on Wednesday, where he is expected to coincide with U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff for talks about receiving hopes of a potential peace deal with Russia. Also, Spain has faced criticism from NATO allies for refusing President Trump's call to raise defense spending to 5% of GDP, though it continues to support Ukraine and is participating in new NATO defense missions on the eastern flank. Also, Zelensky visited Pablo Picasso's Guernica at Madrid's Reina Sofia Museum. Zelensky viewed Picasso's Guernica, which Sanchez described as a universal symbol of the horrors of war and a call for peace. Sanchez recalled that Picasso wanted Guernica to return to Spain only after democracy was restored, a milestone Spain now marks 40 years on. And Hamas has rejected the U.S. drafted resolution on arrangements in Gaza adopted by the UN Security Council on Monday. In a statement posted on its social media account on Tuesday, Hamas said it and other Palestinian factions and armed groups will continue to uphold the Palestinian people's right to resistance and self-defense. Also, the statement emphasized that any proposed deployment of international forces to Gaza under the current framework would amount to a form of trusteeship or imposed administration, thereby restricting the Palestinian people's rights to self-determination and autonomy. The statement warned that if such international forces were to function as a security mechanism coordinating with the Israeli authorities, they would become a new tool for aggression against the Palestinian people and the continuation of efforts to eradicate them. And moving on, Egypt annulled parliamentary votes in over a quarter of first-round constituencies on Tuesday in one of the most significant disruptions to a national election in recent years. Polling began last week for the first of two rounds to elect the final parliament of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi's third term, which is his last under the current constitution. The elections use a hybrid system with seats divided between individual candidates and fixed closed list. Egypt's National Elections Authority cancelled votes in 19 of 70 constituencies due to violations, including improper advertising, missing vote tallies and counting inconsistencies. Earlier, Sisi urged the NEA to address all appeals, while the pro-government national list cleared the 5% threshold, securing many seats. Turnout was about 23%, with the second round set for next week. And German Foreign Minister Johann Vadeful urged Kosovo's political parties to swiftly form a government, warning that a 9-month stalemate risked slowing the country's reform path and its ambitions to join the European Union. Vadeful, speaking during a joint news conference with Kosovo President Vjoso Osmani, said voters will have the right to expect concrete policies to follow democratic elections. Kosovo has been without a fully functioning government since the inconclusive poll earlier this year. With rival parties unable to agree on a coalition, also the political vacuum has delayed budget decisions and slowed work on reforms required by Brussels, including judiciary and economic. And Venezuelan opposition leader and Nobel Peace Prize winner Maria Corina Machado released a manifesto on Tuesday declaring that Venezuela stands on the threshold of a new era and demanding accountability for crimes against humanity. In a video message, she announced the Freedom Manifesto. Machado proclaimed that this regime's long and violent abuse of power is coming to an end and that a new Venezuela is emerging from the ashes. The opposition leader, who's been hiding for over a year, framed her message around fundamental human rights and made an urgent appeal for international attention to Venezuela's political prisoners. And moving on, 5 tourists were killed in a powerful snowstorm in Chile's Torres del Paine National Park in the southern region of Patagonia. The authorities stated on Tuesday that 4 more who were reported missing had been found alive. 2 Germans, 2 Mexicans and 1 British national were killed in the snowstorm. Authorities are focused on retrieving the 5 victim bodies and may complete the work by tomorrow as per the weather conditions. According to the officials, the tourists became lost near the national park's Los Perros camp, reachable only by a 4 to 5 hour trek from the closest accessible point by vehicle. Also, the area was struck by a snowstorm causing whiteout conditions with fierce wind speeds surpassing 193 km per hour, equivalent to a Category 3 hurricane. And Bolivian President Rodrigo Paz visited on Tuesday the central town hit by devastating flooding as the rescue teams and neighbors worked to clear the mud and find missing victims. He announced $380,000 in international cooperation for emergency aid, a contribution that comes on top of plans to rebuild the shattered infrastructure, according to local media. Firefighters worked to rescue people and search for at least 2 people missing, while authorities confirmed damage to homes, roads and crops. The Santa Cruz government deployed heavy machinery to clear debris and help families return to what remains of their homes. The heavy rainfall recorded in the early hours of Monday caused the hillside to slide and collapse towards the community, leading to the flooding of homes and the entry of mud, logs and rocks into the area. And now let's take a look at other stories making news around the world today. A massive fire tore through over 170 buildings in southwestern Japan's Oita city overnight on Wednesday. About 175 residents were evacuated after the blaze began on Tuesday. 1 person remains missing and the cause of the fire is under investigation. Rescue team is working around the clock to fully contain the fire, which has spread to nearby forest. Hundreds marched through Vukovar city in Croatia to mark the 34th anniversary of the town's fall to the former Yugoslav army and honor those who died in Croatia's 1991 War of Independence. Participants, including veterans, carried flags and war memorabilia past the scattered water tower, a lasting symbol of the 87-day siege. Actor James Van Der Beek, best known for Dawson's Creek, is auctioning personal memorabilia to help pay for his cancer treatment. The actor is diagnosed with stage 3 colorectal cancer, has partnered with UK-based prop store for the sale. Items include his outfit from the pilot episode, E.T. plush, Indiana Jones figurine box and more. A portrait by Austrian artist Gustav Klimt, called Portrait of Elizabeth Lederer, was sold for $236.4 million in New York on Tuesday, becoming the 2nd most expensive artwork ever sold at an auction. 6 bidders competed for 20 minutes for the piece, painted between 1914 and 1916. And still to come on DD India Newshour. Australia's Foreign Minister Penny Wong to meet Jaishankar in New Delhi to chart next phase agenda for a stronger Indo-Pacific partnership. India showcases defence manufacturing prowess at Dubai Air Show 2025. And honouring the legacy and sacrifice of the 9th Guru of Sikhs, Haryana Chief Minister lays the foundation stone of Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Forest in Kalisar. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Kuran, and moving on, Australia's Minister for Foreign Affairs, Penny Wong, will attend the 16th Australia-India Foreign Ministers Framework Dialogue and a 26th meeting with her Indian counterpart, Dr. S. Jaishankar, in New Delhi today. Well, in a press release, Wong said the cooperation under the Comprehensive Strategic Partnership reflects deepening alignment and shared vision for a peaceful, stable and prosperous Indo-Pacific region. She said that the discussions with Dr. Jaishankar will set the course for an event more ambitious, future-focused agenda as the partnership enters its next phase. She added that two sides look to enhance cooperation across cyber and strategic technology, trade, maritime security, defence, sport and people-to-people ties. Together, Australia and India are working bilaterally through the Quad and through multilateral institutions to advance both nations' collective security and prosperity. And Afghanistan's Minister of Industry and Commerce, Nuruddin Azizi, will begin his 5-day official visit to India from today. He's expected to visit the India International Trade Fair 2025, besides meeting Indian officials, especially those related to trade and commerce. This marks one of the highest-level visits from the Taliban government to India since their takeover of Kabul in August 2021. Earlier, Maulvi Amir Khan Muttaqi, Afghanistan's Minister of Foreign Affairs, concluded a 6-day visit to India in October 2025, marking the highest-level engagement between New Delhi and the Taliban regime since the 2021 takeover. And Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal launched the Trade Intelligence and Analytics TIA portal, a unified digital platform aimed at improving transparency in trade data and strengthening evidence-based decision-making for policymakers and businesses. The TIA portal, developed by the Department of Commerce since March 2024, integrates global and bilateral trade databases, including US Comtrade, into a single analytics system. It offers more than 270 interactive visualizations across over 28 dashboards, providing insights into India's bilateral trade patterns, global flows and market diversification opportunities. The platform includes tools such as the Trade Power Watch for identifying champion products, dashboards tracking production-linked incentive scheme commodities, surge monitoring systems for imports and export anomalies, and a critical minerals tracker covering over 30 minerals at the HS code level. Tariff analysis and target monitoring dashboards are currently under development. The minister said the global services sector offers huge opportunities for Indian enterprises and added that the new portal would support exporters in making better use of free trade agreements.
It's a great wake-up call for all of us, the current volatile situation in the world. If we don't now pool all our resources, government and private sector, together, in this situation, we will really live to regret a lost opportunity. Friends, on our part, we offer you, come up with whatever your demands are. We'll do everything under our command to try and do it. If it is within the department, we'll do it very quickly. If it involves other departments, we'll work on it very actively with other departments and try to get it done. When we talk of QCOs, our idea is not to create any burden. If there's a problem, come back to us. We can always resolve it. But idea is to build the quality consciousness that the world can recognize and respect and experience. Or Indian quality, high quality.
Well, moving on, Piyush Goyal also highlighted India's push for deep tech innovation as the nation aims to become developed by the year 2047. At the 22nd Indo-US Economic Summit, he highlighted defense cooperation and rising exports. DD India's Tapas Bhattacharya reports for more.
India and the United States may soon take a major step forward in their economic partnership. Addressing the 22nd Indo-US Economic Summit, Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal said that there is no pause, no hiatus in the partnership, calling Indo-US relations both important and enduring. The Union Minister noted that negotiations for a bilateral trade agreement are progressing, with India firmly focused on safeguarding its national interest. He emphasized that any deal must be fair, equitable, and balanced for both nations.
We are both equally committed to working to expand trade and commerce between the two countries. And when the deal becomes fair, equitable, balanced, you will hear good news.
The minister also highlighted the recently signed 10-year defense framework and India's new contract to source LPG from the US, terming them significant steps in strengthening economic and strategic cooperation. He assured industry leaders that both countries remain committed to expanding trade and expressed confidence that India's exports in 2026 will surpass last year's performance.
Story of Indo-American partnership can best be described as two trusted partners working together for the shared prosperity not only of both countries but of the entire world.
The Union Minister also praised the rapid transformation in Uttar Pradesh under Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, saying that the state has become highly conducive for business with world-class infrastructure and a growing aspirational population.
Uttar Pradesh itself has seen a dramatic transformation from a state where business and trade hesitated to even venture given the terrible law and order situation, given the massive amount of corruption that prevailed before 2017. And in a short span of 8 years, that state has transformed into the most preferred investment destination.
Reiterating India's long-term vision, Union Minister said that the country aims to work with the best globally, benchmark itself among advanced economies, and achieve the goal of making India a prosperous and fully developed nation by 2047. Tapas Bhattacharya's report for DD India.
Well, India has issued a strong call for urgent United Nations Security Council reform, saying the system is stuck in artful delay and procedural acrobatics. Speaking at the start of the new intergovernmental negotiations IGN framework session, India congratulated the new co-chairs from Kuwait and the Netherlands, but warned that the UN's credibility is at risk. In its sharp message, New Delhi said the 80-year-old Security Council structure are no longer reflecting today's geopolitical realities. It accused the IGN process of becoming a theatre of the absurd, noting that in 17 years it has produced no next, no outcomes and no progress. India stressed that decades of discussions have yielded nothing, arguing that consensus is being misused as a veto.
Let us not forget in recognizing the reality. All that we have seen in this forum over nearly 2 decades is not action, but artful delay, procedural acrobatics, and a quiet, calculated resistance to change an 80-year-old architecture that is representative of a bygone era. This situation is neither representative nor equitable nor credible. There is a need to make the UN fit for purpose by redesigning this framework in order not only to make it reflective of contemporary geopolitical realities, but also to redeem its crisis of legitimacy.
Well, it demanded expansion of both permanent and non-permanent seats, early text-based negotiations, and priority for Africa's representation in the permanent category. India also backed representation for small island developing states, but rejected faith-based claims for Security Council seats.
India supports the representation of small island developing states in a reformed council. However, similar claims by other cross-regional groups such as OIC are not comparable. Faith cannot become the determining criteria for council entitlement. The composition and framework of an expanded and reformed council may be decided upon by members of the General Assembly. India stands fully ready to contribute meaningfully towards this agenda, including the IGN framework. Progress on the agenda is dependent on the commitment of member states to meaningfully contribute towards this endeavor in a forward-looking and constructive manner. India urges all member states to come together in this regard. Narrow considerations and parochial views need to be set aside for the larger good of the effective functioning of the Security Council.
The notorious gangster Lawrence Bishnoi's brother and most wanted terrorist Anmol Bishnoi has been deported to India. His arrival in India is being considered a major success for Indian investigative agencies. Also, the National Investigation Agency had declared Anmol Bishnoi a most wanted criminal and had also announced a reward of 10 lakh rupees for him. Bishnoi is involved in at least 18 serious criminal cases in India. He alleged crime includes plotting the murder of former Maharashtra Minister Baba Siddiqui in Mumbai, the firing outside actor Salman Khan's residence in Bandra, and playing a key role in the killing of Punjabi singer Sidhu Moosewal. And India showcased defence manufacturing and technology collaboration opportunities at the Dubai Air Show 2025, hosting an industry roundtable chaired by Minister of State for Defence Sanjay Seth. Representatives from around 50 companies across India, UAE, US, UK, Australia, Brazil and Italy attended the session. The discussion focused on joint defence production, technology cooperation and encouraging global firms to explore manufacturing in India. Officials highlighted the rapid expansion of India's defence innovation ecosystem, marked by a surge in start-ups and MSMEs and strong Indian participation at the air show. And now let's take a look at other stories making news today. National Dairy Research Institute has developed 3D printing technology for custom sweets, allowing precise designs and shapes using a layer-by-layer deposition system. The innovation can attract consumers and enhance the business value of these personalized sweet products. The NDR Director and Principal Advisor demonstrated the technology. And Haryana's Chief Minister Nayab Singh Saini laid the foundation stone for Shri Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Forest in Kalisar. He highlighted the importance of remembering those who sacrificed their lives for the nation and religion, citing Shri Tegh Bahadur Ji as an inspiration. The initiative aims to honor his legacy. And still to come on DD India Newshour. COP30 host Brazil on Tuesday produced a first draft of an agreement after negotiations on sticking points stretched late into the night. Etihad Airways to boost wide-body fleet with 32 new Airbus jets. And we'll show you how Nepal's spiritual tradition of Charya dance brings Vajrayana deities to life in sacred Newari tradition. Take a look.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, and moving on now. With just 3 days remaining, Brazil wants its COP, the first to be held in the Amazon, to be a success. Also, Brazilian diplomats are now working day and night with negotiators in the hope of reaching an initial consensus by Wednesday in the presence of President Lula. The host nation expects to land a deal on some of the most contentious issues, including a halt on rising greenhouse gas emissions, cutting fossil fuel use and coping up with the damage caused by warming temperatures. Any such deal would confound expectations set by recent COP summits, all of which have run way past their scheduled end. The conference is due to end at 2100 GMT on Friday. Meanwhile, a major announcement came as COP30 entered its final stretch in Belém. Brazil has created 10 new indigenous territories, a crucial step towards securing long-promised land rights. The designation means the areas, including one in part of the Amazon, will have their culture and environment protected under Brazilian law, though this is not always enforced. The latest measure will be formalized through a presidential decree. The government believes that indigenous people today protect 82% of the world's biodiversity. Demarcation of indigenous lands will guarantee protection of the area. Meanwhile, the deadlock over where the next year's conference of the parties take place still continues, although Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has made it clear that Australia will not stand in the way of Turkey hosting the COP31. He, however, insisted the interest of Pacific Island countries should be prioritized. Both the countries submitted bids in 2022 to host COP31 and neither has withdrawn. Consensus on the host country must be reached at COP30 currently underway in Belém. If neither Australia nor Turkey backs down, the conference would default to Bonn in Germany, though Germany has said it does not want to host. And on to some business news now. President Donald Trump said on Tuesday he's identified his choice for the next Federal Reserve chair while expressing frustration about being unable to immediately remove current chair Jerome Powell. Trump reiterated that Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent did not want the job and continued to berate Powell, who he has repeatedly criticized for not lowering the interest rates further.
Have you started the interviews for the Fed chair?
Yes.
Who have you interviewed?
I think I already know my choice.
Who is it?
Well, I liked him, but he's not going to take the job. He refused. You like Treasury better, right?
Much better, sir.
So we are talking to various people.
Well, meanwhile, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent had confirmed earlier that the list of candidates to replace Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell has been winnowed down to 5, and President Donald Trump said the replacement is likely to be named by the end of the year. And Etihad Airways laid out a series of deals that will add 32 wide-body jets to its growing fleet, lifting targets for fleet size and passenger numbers by the year 2030. The Abu Dhabi carrier is buying 6 A330-900s from Airbus, and 9 will be released from Dublin-based Les Avalon as part of the order, which was announced during the Dubai Air Show. In recent years, airlines have struggled with aircraft deliveries amid increasing demand as Boeing undergoes multiple crises and Airbus struggles with supply chain challenges. The airline is boosting its fleet and network to better compete with bigger Gulf carriers as Abu Dhabi diversifies its economy away from oil, betting on sectors such as tourism. Also, the stock market slid across the board on Tuesday as investors worried about lofty tech valuations on the eve of earnings from AI chip titan Nvidia. Global markets fell as Asian and European losses weighed on Wall Street. US stocks dropped sharply. The S&P 500 fell 0.8% to 6,617, while Nvidia shared dropped 2.8%. Crude, Bitcoin and gold rose and Treasury yields fell amid weak investor sentiment. European shares closed at a one-month low, with German stocks hitting a near five-month low. Tokyo's Nikkei fell 3.2% and Japanese bond yields rose amid concerns over Daiichi's stimulus plan. The yen weakened to 155.48 per dollar. Hong Kong's Hang Seng fell 1.7% to 25,930. Euro remained flat at 88.09 pence. Well, you're watching DT India News Hour. Time now for some sports news. Scotland will go to the Men's World Cup for the first time in 28 years after stoppage time goals by Kieran Tierney and Kenny McLean secured a memorable 4-2 victory over Denmark at a rocking Hampden Park on Tuesday. The Scots led twice inside 90 minutes, twice lost that lead, and then scored 2 fabulous goals in injury time, one from their own half, to ensure they will return to the finals for the first time since 1998 in France. While Euro 2024 winner Spain also booked their ticket with a 2-2 draw against Turkey. The draw extended Spain's unbeaten streak to 31 matches. The 2026 World Cup in Canada, Mexico and the United States will mark Spain's 17th appearance in the tournament, continuing an unbroken streak of qualification that began in 1978. Their sole triumph came in 2010 when they lifted the trophy in South Africa. Well, Switzerland too qualified for the next year's World Cup despite being held 1-1 by Kosovo on Tuesday. Switzerland finished top of Group B with 14 points, completing an unbeaten qualifying campaign. And Norwich City have appointed former Rangers manager Philippe Clement as their head coach on a 3.5-year contract. The Belgian coach replaces Liam Manning, who was sacked after just 17 games in charge following a 2-1 home defeat by Leicester City on 8th of November. The Canaries are second from bottom of the English Football League Championship with 9 points from 15 games and have lost all 8 home matches in the league and cup this season. And now we bring our viewers spiritual tradition of Charya dance, which has been preserved primarily by Newari Vajracharya priest in Nepal and dates back to the 7th and the 8th centuries. Performers dress like a deity with elaborate jewelries like living goddess Kumari, Tara, Kurukale, Saraswati, Kalbhairav and Kali for the sacred Vajrayana Buddhist dance. Now the dance is accompanied by traditional instruments like the damaru and the krimbals. Take a look. All right, that's all for this edition of DT India News Hour. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DT India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DT India. I'm Lipakshi Khurana from Al Fasair in Delhi. Thanks for watching DT India News Hour.